The Adventure of the Silly Bunny, Chapter 3. Benny, the silly bunny, had never seen anything like it before. It was hiding under a fern, nestled between two small rocks, and shaking like a leaf. It was such an unusual animal, completely unlike a rabbit or a mouse or even a pointy-nosed fox, because it didn't have any hair. It wasn't a bird because it didn't have any feathers. Not even a baby bird whose skin is pink. This animal had deep black skin on its belly, but its back was all kinds of colors, and they appeared and disappeared. And the sound it made was unlike any forest creature he had ever heard before. It was a sort of loud screeching sound, and it kept shouting over and over and over again. Benny watched from a distance, not sure if he should get any closer. Maybe this animal didn't hear him come along and he should just hop away to safety. Or maybe this animal was in trouble and needed Benny to rescue it. After all, it didn't look very comfortable wedged in between those two rocks. Maybe what this creature really needed was for Benny to help it get loose. While debating what to do, the strange-looking animal stopped its wailing and suddenly went very still. And even more astonishing, its colorful back suddenly went away. All the patterns disappeared, and the creature became as black as a cloudy night. "Oh no," Benny thought to himself. "It must really be in trouble. I've got to help it get free from those rocks and maybe find it some food." Very cautiously, Benny crept up on the mysterious critter, sniffing the air for danger. It didn't smell like a pointy-nosed fox, or a mouse, or a bird. It didn't smell like anything he'd ever smelled before. In fact, this animal was so extraordinarily unusual, Benny realized his parents had been right. He must travel the world because there are strange and mysterious inhabitants he never would have met if he had stayed at home. He took a few more steps, getting closer ever so carefully, listening to see if he could hear the poor little thing breathing. One more step, and suddenly the creature jumped awake. His back exploded with brightly lit colors and began screaming as loudly as before while shaking furiously. Benny jumped higher than he'd ever jumped before and dashed for protection behind the old sequoia. The little creature shook and screamed and screamed and shook, but never moved away from where it was, wedged between the rocks. Benny peered around the thick bark of the old tree and watched the little thing shaking in fright. "It's not dangerous," Benny thought after watching it for a moment. "It's just scared. It probably thought I was going to hurt it and tried to scare me away." And for that matter, Benny didn't see where these animals' legs were. He didn't see any legs at all. What if something awful has happened to this animal and its legs were broken off, he thought. Again, the little thing quieted down, and this time Benny approached with more confidence. "Hello," he called out. The little animal didn't say anything. "My name is Benny. Are you hurt?" The little critter just sat there, quietly. Benny boldly strode up next to the rocks, holding the little thing. "It's okay. I can help you. There's nothing to be afraid of," Benny tried to reassure it. And just then, the colorful animal's back was aflame with color, and its screaming began again, this time even louder than before. But Benny wasn't afraid. No, he understood what it felt like to be scared of someone you don't know and hide it by screaming. Instead, Benny tried to calm the creature down and let it know that everything was going to be all right. He reached out with his right paw and gently placed it on the animal's colorful back. Instantly, it stopped screaming and shaking, and even the pattern on its back changed to something less frightful. "There now," Benny said. "It's going to be okay." "Who is this?" the little animal spoke, and in a language that Benny understood because his mother taught him English. My name is Benny, though my friends call me Silly Bunny. Where are you? The critter demanded. What do you mean? Where are you? The critter shouted loudly. I'm standing right here. Can you not see me? Are you, Benny asked uncertainly, blind? Very funny. What a joker, it snarled. I like telling the joke about the chicken crossing the road, if that's what you mean. The creature cut him off. You can't get away with stealing my phone. I'm going to deactivate it. Stealing? What is stealing? Benny wondered. And what's a phone? I don't understand you, Benny calmly replied. But first I'm going to turn on the geolocating device, and I'm going to find you. Benny interrupted this time. I'm standing right here, he said, as calmly as he could, for clearly this little animal was so afraid he couldn't see what is right before his eyes. That's it, the creature sputtered. You can't get away with this. I'll hunt you down. I'll call the police. I'll make your life a living hell. And then he started screaming words that Benny had never heard before and had no idea what they meant, even though they kind of sounded like fun words to say, especially the one that starts with an F sound and has all these different endings like ing and and head. Benny would have to learn these new words to use when he makes new friends. The poor little animal kept shouting and hollering and getting even more angry as the colors on his back started to fade and get dimmer and dimmer. And then in the middle of one of those F-sounding words, the creature stopped making a sound. The colors on his back were all gone, and now he was solid black, like the crows that visit in the winter. It's okay, little guy, Benny said to him. It's okay to be afraid. But the little creature didn't move. Benny sat there a while, and then very slowly, when it was clear what had happened, he chose a tasty yellow wildflower and placed it on the animal's back. Rest, little one. I wish there was something I could have done. But Benny knew there was not. This was a natural part of life, after all. He wondered if the animal's anger was the reason, or maybe it was the way the animal had fallen between the rocks. Or maybe it was something else. Or maybe it was that F-sounding word that caused all the problems. He didn't know. And he didn't have to know. Some things in life, Benny thought philosophically, are simply fucked. To be continued.